you see what it is like here, right?
Yeah.
Imagine everywhere you go, there's just that. So you kind of just do it, and then some people are good, and some people are just not good. You know, everybody wanted to do hip hop, but it wasn't called hip hop when I was doing it. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, hey, I want to be hip hop, or I want to do hip hop. It wasn't like that. It was, you walk outside, there's people doing this shit. It's like, oh, you just do it. What's up, peace? And you leave. You know, you're doing it just because it's happening. It's weird. If it wasn't for white people calling it hip hop, it wouldn't be called hip hop. You know that, right?
Right. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. When I was a kid buying cassettes, I would go to the warehouse, and there wasn't a hip hop section. It
was a rap. It was rap. It had rap music.
Not even. It was pop rock. My first Public Enemy cassette, I walked into a warehouse music, and it was found in pop rock.
Really? Well, over here they had rap section. There was no hip hop section. Hip hop wasn't named hip hop until the '80s by white people. So it wasn't like we're like, yo, we're doing hip hop. We didn't even know what the fuck. We just did whatever we were doing. Some people go outside, they were popping or whatever. It's like these white people have to have a name for everything. So they're like, yo, you're doing hip hop. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, we're doing hip hop. Even the graffiti writers didn't like that shit. They were like, I'm not part of y'all motherfuckers. I don't go to the jams. I'm over here spray painting on trains. While you over there doing your little party, I'm on the train. So it's the easy answer is, yeah, I saw somebody DJ, I wanted to do that. But that's not the real answer. The real answer is, I don't know. One day I was, maybe I was at somebody's house maybe. There was a DJ that moved. I'm like, oh shit. I got on there, did it a little bit, and I'm like, that's pretty nice. Did it again. But I was doing it all. I was still b-boying. I was a DJ. I was a rapper. I was everything. Because everybody was everything. And then when the fad went away, guess what? They stopped doing it. And then I was just good, so I just kept on doing it. So it wasn't like I tried to do any of that. It's weird. It's not like other people, I would say. It's not like my story of that is not the way you used to hearing rappers saying, yo, I heard my first Rakim record. I had to be a rapper. That's good. When I first started doing this shit, there was no good records. There was what, the Sugar Hill Gang? That shit was whack. I mean, it was dope because there was people rapping, but it was whack. Them guys were whack. Because in the street, the Cold Crush Brothers were dope. So when the first record came out, I'm like, who the fuck are these people? They're whack. The fuck is this shit? You know what I'm saying? I saw Flash and I saw these people in the park. And when I seen these guys, Sugar Hill Gang, rap records didn't impress me. It was like, that shit's trash. So the way I discovered it is different than the way you discovered it. Because it was here. You lived in, where? You were LA, right? Or you're the Bay Area?
Bay Area.
You probably got that shit years later. So it was late. You delay. But when you got it, people already started to become famous. It wasn't like that here. So the famous people here sucked. So it was like the Sugar Hill Gang. And I'm like, who the fuck are these old people, man? They fucking whack. They don't sound like Cold Crush Brothers I seen in the park. They don't sound like fucking Treacherous 3. So it's different. I never wanted to do this shit for a living. I never wanted to do this shit at all. I want to be an architect. So when, this shit just happened. So I think that's the easiest answer. It just happened. And it's hard for people to understand that.
There was no records.
There was there was none of that shit. So it wasn't like, yo, I saw this shit, I gotta do it. I couldn't go to the park because I was too little. I couldn't see the DJs get down, so I would try to. And then my mom would beat my ass and she found out I was outside at night. So it wasn't that. Nobody in my family had turntables. So it's pretty much,
It just happened.
it just happened. One day I was at somebody's house, I guess. They were smoking weed. They went to smoke weed. I'm like, oh shit, good. So I got a turntable and he came back, yo, get off my shit. Sorry. I don't know, it's hard to explain. In New York, everything's organic. So it's either part of you or it's not. You know what I'm saying? That's one reason why New York is so different than other places, because it started here. Like the Southside movement in the 60s, that started here. And, which is weird because it didn't start here, it started in Puerto Rico, but it started, the way we know Southside now, started in New York. It started here because everything was fucked up in New York at the time. Who live in the Bronx? You live in the Bronx? You live in the Bronx. You live in the Bronx. Where in the Bronx? Fordham? That whole area was on fire in 1970. The whole area, well, yeah, I know, but like it was literally on fire in the 70s, burning. And the only way to say something about it was hip hop at the time. But there was no hip hop. But that's not the only thing. Southside, the same thing. Look at the Fania All Stars records that came out in the 60s and the 70s. They didn't sound like the shit that was coming from Puerto Rico. Listen to the Southside records of Puerto Rico. Talk about food, the women, how beautiful my island looks. And then you got Hector Lavoe talking about Calle Luna, Calle Sol, and Todo Tiene Su Final, and all these records that were fucked up. And it's like, that doesn't sound happy like these guys on the island, because it was not happy music, because what was happening in the city was fucked up. So if you grew up in that shit, it was part of you whether you wanted to be part of you or not. So you were either part of it or not. And a lot of people didn't like it either. Some people didn't like the salsa movement. Some people didn't like the hip hop movement. They're like, what the fuck is that bullshit? And they went back down and did disco, or they did the mambo, or whatever the fuck it was called. Mambo. I think they called it mambo at the time. They wasn't fucking with the salsa or hip hop. But white people found it. And then they said, we can make money from it. And then it got big, and then people came back. Oh, hey, I want to be part of that. So some people, like Lovebug Starsky, you heard of Starsky, right? He was a disco dude. And he used to say, fuck hip hop. And then it started making money. He was like, hey, I'm down with hip hop. No, you wasn't. You was shitting on hip hop. So remember, hip hop wasn't popular. So to you, it was popular, and it was like, oh shit, I want to be part of that. To a lot of us here, if you did it, they laughed at you. They were like, fuck you doing that?
Today, hip hop is pop culture.
It is, but it wasn't in 1972 or 73. So you did that shit, they laughed at you. Because the real popular people were doing disco with the long collars and the fucking chains, and they're going to Studio 54, and they was doing drugs. And then if you was spinning on your back, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? You getting all dirty and shit. You know, I'm looking fly. They would laugh at you. If you go to the clubs doing that, they'd kick you out. Go to the park and do that shit with them, those morenos and shit. They used to say that all the time, and it was like, that's fucked up, you know? So you went to the park, and then disco died. And all those disco people were like, hey, I'm a hip hop now. Yeah, I'm, you know, and it's fucked up. And that's, you know, that's the way it happens. Everybody jumps as a bandwagon. It became a bandwagon thing. But not until the white people took it over in the 80s. Disco died in the 80s, white people came, made money, and then all of a sudden, all these guys that didn't like hip hop, all of a sudden wanted to be part of hip hop. So I was already raised in it, so it was just part of what I was doing. It didn't seem like I need to do this. This is what you did, you know? I don't know how to give you an example like where you lived. You in the Bay Area. What's big in the Bay Area?
Right now? Well, in the Bay Area, the first rap record that I think that like really was blowing up was like Run DMC, LL Cool J. Those were like the first ones. But then you had like your Egyptian Lover and stuff like that were more.
Yeah, but that was LA. Yeah, I remember that electro shit.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's, you know, I'm good. I'm glad you brought that up. Electro, right? We did it here. Africa Bambaataa, right? So Sonic Force.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like LA. Those motherfuckers did that shit. Egyptian Lover. Who's that other motherfucker? The guys that did
Dr. Dre did it too.
Yeah, Dr. Dre before he did NWA, but there's somebody else that was really big. That Planet King, that Kingdom, and what the fuck's the name? Kingdom 22, is that it? What was the name of it?
I don't know, right?
Yeah, them guys were all doing that electro thing. It became real big down there. Like, I'll tell you what, popping, that came from the West Coast. That didn't come from us. We were doing it, but it came from the West Coast. Locking, Greg Campbell lock, right? That came from the West Coast. You know, we got down with that. We watched Soul Train. On Soul Train, everybody's doing that shit. We're like, what the fuck is that? That rerun shit, right? So we saw that. That's from the West Coast. We didn't grow up doing that. So that, to us, was, you know, when I started liking that shit, I saw that shit on Soul Train. You see what I'm saying? Because we didn't see it all the time. So it's like, Soul Train came out. I saw this motherfucker doing this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So we started doing it. See, that has an origin that's outside of us, so it's easy to explain that. Electro or Planet Rock was, you know, we had that. So, but that's a good call, locking. Locking is definitely something that I never saw here. I didn't grow up, I didn't see it here. So when I saw shit on TV, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck is that? And then I saw What's Happening, the TV show with Rerun. Rerun was one of the lockers. So when Rerun started doing it, I'm like, we gotta start doing that shit, that shit, that wasn't what we did in New York. But in New York, you either did it or you didn't. It was just part of the life. And then some people got bored with it. Some people were good and they kept on doing it. Me, I feel music all the time. So if there's anything musically oriented, I'm gonna do it. So it could be b-boying, it could be DJing, it doesn't matter what it is. I play instruments. So, how did I get started? Nobody in my family did any of that shit. Well, my mom wasn't breakdancing, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have an older brother. So it's just, you walk outside, you see it, and sometimes it makes you feel something. I don't know. I've always been musically oriented. So me being a DJ, I guess it was just a natural transition from me loving music. Didn't you want to DJ at one time? What happened? You suck?
Yeah.
See? That's why you stopped. I didn't suck. So I kept on going. That's the difference. It's not that something made me say, oh shit, I should be a DJ. Nothing made me stop. Something made you stop. You said, I'm not that good, let me stop. Me, I didn't have that. I was good. So somebody said, yo, you pretty good, keep doing that shit. Okay. Somebody said, I'll pay you to do a party. Money? You probably tried it. Somebody said, yo, man, what the fuck are you doing? I'm trying to, I'm DJing. You're whack. So you said, oh shit, I'm gonna stop this shit. You tried to rap too, right? But you good?
I won a contest in Mexico.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh shit, what happened?
I was in the seminary at the time, so I didn't tell the priest about it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know you was in the seminary.
Yeah, I was in the seminary.
Oh shit, man.
I did it low key. Then they found out about it.
Then that fucked you up. Now you had to stop.
Yeah.
See? You did other shit too. You wanted to break dance at one time?
No.
No? Why not?
I was never good at that.
Yeah, see? The thing is, I'm naturally good at everything I do. That sounds kind of cocky, but I don't care what it is. I do it, I'm good at it. So I don't stop until I get bored. I never got bored of teaching, that's it. So everything I do. I mean, I know how to sew. I'm good at that shit too, but I'm not making clothes, but I could probably, but I'm good at a lot of things and I just do it. And I need to do things all the time. I don't sleep, you know that, I don't sleep. How many hours I sleep a day? 2 hours maybe?
3, 2.
Right, so I gotta do shit so when I'm not sleeping. So I just do it. I read, something new comes up, oh shit, let me try that. It's not even really because something makes me say, oh wow. It's because something makes me say, I'm bored, I need to do something. And I was bored, I became a DJ. I was bored, I started writing rhymes. I was bored, I started drawing. I used to be a graffiti artist. You get bored. And then, if you suck and somebody tells you suck real bad, then you want to stop. Well, that shit looks whack. Oh, shit. So you stop. But nobody ever said my shit was whack. That's the best reason to do something. When somebody doesn't tell you your shit is whack.
Don't stop, keep going.
Don't stop. Even if you're whack, keep going. But me, I was never whack. So.